Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario Sunshine 100%. It's time for Blue Coins of Gelato Beach, so that means Sandbird time.
Oh, I forgot that there were blue coins in the Sandbird. Oh.
Blue coins? You're thinking of Mario Deluxe.
Is Mario interning to be one of those extremely badass hotel janitors? Because this is a lot of cleanup.
No, see, like, is it a matter of his skill, or just the fact that he's the only one outside of the one janitor that's indestructible, as we've pointed out?
Well,
I think it's the latter.
there were several indestructible janitors at that hotel, though.
I only recall one.
There was one.
The one with the push broom.
They all had a push broom.
They all have push brooms.
I think it's the same dude.
There were two of them on screen at once.
Yeah, double team.
Shadow Clone Jutsu.
I don't watch One Piece.
You know, you say that as a joke, but Naruto, when he becomes Hokage, does legitly use Shadow Clone Jutsu to get around, like, scheduling issues. There was one, really awkward moment where he sent a Shadow Clone to attend his daughter's birthday while he did Hokage things. It popped in the middle of the birthday cake, cutting. So.
I'm pretty sure just Hokage things was a prototype name for Naruto.
My Shadow Clone popped while I was at my daughter's birthday party, the visual novel version.
People don't give the Boruto series enough credit. It does have its issues, but it's fun. I like it.
As far as I don't follow anime or manga all that much anymore. The last manga I read, the last full manga I read that was more shonen-y was, Promise Neverland. There we go. And I'm reading Spy X Family too, but that's more of a comedy, so it's not really the same genre. Spy X Family is great, by the way, and I'm a couple volumes behind, if I remember.
Are you actually supposed to pronounce the X in Spy X Family?
No, but it's
it
better than
Family?
Spy Cross Family, so I'm not...
Well, I mean, both are wrong, I think, in that case. Wouldn't that be the case?
Well,
I'd say Spy Family and be done with it.
Yeah.
No, if they didn't want me to say X, they wouldn't put an X there.
I mean, I agree.
Do you just call it men?
If you do want me to pronounce it, don't put it on the fucking
Look,
title.
at the end of the day, it's a shonen anime title by Japanese dudes who don't know how good English sounds, so it's going to sound weird no matter how you say it.
Is Spy Family a shonen?
Yeah, it's on Shonen Jump.
It's not like a Dragon Ball Z shonen, but I guess in the sense that it appeals to young kids, primarily boys, I would suppose.
Well, where was it published? Do you know?
In Shonen Jump. So
In
then
Shonen
I guess,
Jump. There you go.
Yeah. But I would say that its appeal is broader than that of a shonen because it's not, just like an action show. It's a...
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm confused by the description.
Well, I mean, the appeal is broader, but at the same time, the editors at Shonen Jump do prioritize shonen appeal when they greenlight things, so...
I mean, I guess the thing about it for me is just that shonen's kind of a broad genre, kind of like the same way that like superhero comic is, because I would say that like Guardians of the Galaxy and Batman are very different genres despite both being superhero, even though they both would just be in superhero.
I would say would it be more accurate to say they have very different demographics?
No, I'd say they're different genres, because I'd say cop shows and political thrillers probably have the same demographics, but they're not the same genre.
Well, I mean, like there's genres, and then there's subgenres. It's a complicated thing. You can't just categorize shonen all as
Depth
one
perception
thing.
is a bitch.
You can't just categorize shonen all as one thing, but you just barely managed that. Good job.
It was like you had all the time in the world to grab that coin. You barely picked it up. Anyway, what were we talking about? Cops, genres, subgenres.
Yeah, because
CSI.
Subgenres are a thing. Like, most cop shows are detective stories, but not all detective stories are cop shows.
Not all detective stories even adhere to the same kind of formula. You have your Columbos and you have your Sherlock Holmes and you have everything in between.
Yeah. But I would say that like superhero there needs to be a more broad word than genre. Like, because superhero and shonen, I don't think are a genre. I think they're a category. But, you could say, oh, it's a superhero book, and you might have an idea of what I'm talking about, but you could also be completely off base.
Look, there's a reason even fanfiction.net, the most basic fanfiction site in the world, gave you 2 genre categories to categorize stories with. Everything is a mixture at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII is a fantasy adventure. It's also a romance.
Or that's called romantasy now, Lewis.
Is it?
Is it?
Yes.
Is there a portmanteau for that? Because that's first time hearing of it.
It's first time
Again,
heard of it, too.
I don't read romance.
So
I guess I
it's
wouldn't
more
know.
of a new thing that's become its own genre because it's basically just an evolution of YA fantasy. Because in YA fantasy, there's often a very romance element to it because that's the audience you're dealing with. You're appealing to teenagers,
yeah.
pretty much. And so now that they're older and they want to read more adult books, now they're basically YA books, but they're allowed to say fuck and show the sex on screen. Is basically what's going on.
Yeah.
There. It's like a little bit more classy than your typical like paperback fantasy, and a little bit more classy than your typical like Harlequin romance novel, kind of like smooshed together with a little YA sprinkling put on top, and that's romantasy. Don't boo me, I'm right, book
I get what you're
people.
saying, and I
was that
can
last
believe it. I've just never heard of it before. What?
Did you say YA? Like, what was that?
Young
YA,
adult,
young
YA,
adults.
yes.
Yeah.
YA. Okay. This is how out of touch I am. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So like, I'm a little hard on YA, and that's partly because I worked at a bookstore for 4 years. So I had to read a lot in order to recommend stuff, and it kind of hurt my soul when I was like, hey, you should try this fantasy book out. I think you'd really like it. And then that same customer would come back and be like, no, I didn't like it. It was too hard. And then they'd take out the YA book. That's like
Nobody wants to
trash.
read War and Peace anymore.
Yeah. No, War and Peace is... No, sorry. That's the Russian guy I can't remember the name of. For some reason, I always got War and Peace and Tale of Two Cities confused, even though they're not really similar at all. It's just kind of one of those weird cross things in my head. But no, I don't recommend Charles Dickens because fuck him.
Duly noted.
So here's the thing about Charles Dickens. One, he's extremely xenophobic. That's the word. Yeah. Oh, the blue coins do it too. Oh, oh God, Sunshine. Why are you like this?
What the Dickens?
What the Dickens?
The other thing is Dickens got paid by the word, so his stuff is incredibly, verbose.
He's also one of the people who's credited with popularizing the cliffhanger because, he sold the chapters in serials, which I think they either were sold individually as chapters or came in like a newspaper. So in order to get you to read the next one, he had to end it on like some dramatic reveal. And then oftentimes the beginning of the next chapter would be like, oh no, it was just something.
Yeah. The structure rings very odd when you read it in book form, like Great Expectations over there on my shelf. Haven't read that in years. I remember weirdly liking it as a kid, but I can't get back into it now, so I guess kid me was just stupid.
So, but when you said what the Dickens, that reminded me, one of my underappreciated Danny Phantom jokes that I didn't get until I watched the series over as an adult is the principal, whenever he makes an exclamation, it's a classical book title. So instead of being like, oh my God, he'll go Pride and Prejudice, or Moby Dick. And it's like one of those things where as a kid, I probably didn't even pick up on it. It's like, oh, that's clever.
Although I feel obliged to mention that the exception to the Dickens rule that you just described is Christmas Carol, which is actually really good to read because it's a children's book. So it's actually concise.
I've never actually read Christmas Carol, I figure the 15,000 adaptations.
That's where I fall a lot. I've never read the original. I've always just seen adaptations.
It's a good book. I enjoyed it.
I did, however, watch a video this past Christmas season on all of the differences between the Muppets Christmas Carol and the original like written Christmas Carol. And there's stuff like, instead of Scrooge saying like, if I had everybody who would celebrate Christmas would be boiled with their turkey or something like that in the Muppets version, and in the original version it's like boiled with their pudding. And it's just like every reference to the British Christmas pudding is removed.
Well, that's because over here in America the word pudding means something different than it does over there.
Wait, so hold on. Do you have to specifically put a pineapple to get a blue coin?
I think it's any fruit.
I think it's any fruit. Yeah, it's any fruit.
How the hell are you supposed to figure that out?
It's a blender.
I think that's a genuine curiosity. It's a blender on top of a roof, and what do you usually blend? Fruit. So like put a fruit in.
Can I make a smoothie? Oh, it turned into a blue coin.
It turned into a blue coin. Fuck, I really wanted a smoothie.
I don't know. I don't think I would have bothered, especially since the fruit's so far away.
Well, a lot of the stuff in this game is built in a way that where like you're supposed to just mess around and figure stuff out. So, we can actually destroy the cataquacks with Yoshi.
Yep.
Praise the sun. Wait, where was the blue coin?
It was right in front of me, so I was blocking it.
It was in there.
I was gonna say,
you're gonna have to take my word for it. It's there.
Oh man!
If a blue coin is collected in the forest and the tracker isn't there to mark it, does it exist?
Yes. The save prompt gives it away.
Oh no.
Oh god, going after the bees with Yoshi's tongue is so goddamn awkward.
So here's the thing, I never really used Yoshi much, because I never, went back to these old levels after I got Yoshi. Because I just kind of kept on going. He's pretty OP. I mean, Yoshi's usually OP in any game where he's in it. But, I don't know, I guess in the way Sunshine's structured, I never really thought to go back to levels that I had already completed with Yoshi. Just to, look for secrets and stuff. Maybe I would go back and do a later mission, and Yoshi would be there now because I had already unlocked him in Pinna Park. But,
well, the thing about that is, for a lot of players, especially at the age that we originally played these games at, we're not necessarily doing all the shines in a level in order. So there is a very high likelihood of a player unlocking Yoshi very early on, and then going back to other levels to get shines, and Yoshi just being there and then messing around with him.
Unfortunately, I don't think I was one of those kids, because I would always try and get every shine I could on one particular area before I had to move on to another area.
So here's the thing with me. I did tend to unlock Yoshi early because when a new level unlocked, I would usually go straight to it. The other thing though is that because I was like that, I would just never go back to the old levels after I had done two or three missions in there, enough to get the next level to open up in the overworld. Because that's just kind of the way that I had been taught that these games worked. When you play your Banjo-Kazooies and your I didn't own Spyro, but I played a little bit of it at a friend's house. Mario 64, all of these other games, they kind of teach you that, you can just kind of keep on going and you don't have to collect everything as you go, basically. Which, as we've touched on multiple times in this series, Sunshine doesn't really let you do that, which is one of its... I was gonna say failings, but some people do like this structure, so I'll say eccentricities.
Faults, maybe, is...
Well, some people don't think it's a fault. Some people like that, you get to spend enough time in each world to, become intimately familiar with it. And, I mean, I guess I can't blame them for that. I appreciate the idea of, being able to play a level for enough time that you become comfortable with it. I honestly think that that's a positive if you become attached to a world in a video game. I guess my problem is just that I've never found these worlds engaging enough to get attached to in the first place.
I mean, that can still happen without being required to do all of the missions, though. So
yeah,
I don't really see that as like a positive intrinsically linked to that eccentricity as you described it.
Yeah. I do actually, now that I'm looking at it, I do have a question, however, about how the Switch version controls. Because if you don't know, on the GameCube had analog shoulder buttons, which was a new big thing at the time. And as such, as a new big Nintendo thing that they thought would revolutionize the industry, like 5 games used it, Sunshine being one of them. And if you hold down the R button just slightly, you can run and shoot at the same time. And if you hold it down all the way, you stop in place and can aim. So what I want to know is, since digital buttons are now the way of the future, how does that work in this version?
Basically, use ZR for standing in place and regular R for running with it, I believe. I can't remember which button does what exactly, but that's the idea. Also, they did patch in GameCube support, so if you have the adapter, you can use the GameCube controller.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Yeah. I mean, that is the obvious solution, since the Switch has one extra shoulder button compared to the GameCube controller.
Yeah, you might as well just make, if not a toggle, then just have a separate button for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, but we'll see you all in the next part for Super Mario Sunshine, where we get more blue coins. Yay!
I can't wait to see what happens next time.